What's going on, everybody? Welcome. Fresh week here at Hockey on Gold Boys Network. I'm GriffyBets, joined by WallaBets, brought to you by Pickett, top app for tracking your plays, keeping track of your bankroll, finding the best prices. Thanks to Pickett. It is Monday. There are a lot of games today, and they start soon. So we're going to touch on, we'll, of course, go chronologically. We got a couple 1 p.m. games, so make sure you don't miss out on any of the bets that you like there that we touch on. How we doing? Well, how was your weekend? Seemed like you had a good week last week.
Yeah, it was good week, good weekend. Yesterday, a little bit down, but it was just on the back of, Svetch not getting one more shot, so wasn't you know, too down on myself about that one. So, yeah, good week. I'm feeling pretty good. Early games today, so I'm having that inner conflict of, do I just follow my looks and my stats, or do I get scared because they're playing early that I have every time there's day games? So just dealing with that right now.
Yeah, it's a fair concern. I mean, on one hand, there's no better way to start your day than winning all your bets, but losing all your bets at 1 p.m. can also be tough. Wyatt,
Mental battle.
I'm running a little behind myself. In general, I'd like to try to map out my whole day before I place 1 p.m. bets to not over leverage myself at the beginning. Um, so I'm gonna try to get in my rest of my bets before those games get going. Kind of be independent. I don't want to be feeling like I'm chasing.
Yeah.
Even though I mean I plan on winning everything, but just in case something goes awry. Uh, but yeah, I think a lot looks pretty good today.
Yeah.
Before we get there, I feel like again we got to stop betting hockey on Friday, right? Have you finally come over to that side after Jack Hughes could not deliver?
Yeah. At least I think at least on Fridays you gotta really take a different approach to the slate, it feels like. You
Like
know,
take it off?
that's one different approach to just not do it. I did that South Park gif where it's like, "We didn't listen because you said don't bet it," and then we bet it anyway.
I
But,
didn't listen to myself either. I'm an idiot. I'm weak.
I did notice that, like, so it just seems like these smash spots on Fridays, they're not working out. But there were a lot of, like, leans that I had that I think did come through, and it's stuff that maybe I wouldn't normally look at. So I think maybe on Friday, I just gotta look at some different angles there. Definitely take it easier because uh, they have been rough. I think most people I see on Fridays are um, having a rough time. So yeah, I'm with you on that one.
I am seeing DraftKings is doing another stepped up boost today, which have been kind to us. I'm not sure if
I got to rush to put that in.
for anyone that caught Monday's show, I had just bought irresponsibly purchased some Eagles tickets, and I had said a parlay would have really come in handy there. So I'm happy. I've now covered the cost of that, but we were just crunching some numbers with our wedding this summer and seeing what we're going to be responsible for. That number's a little high, so I could use another one this week, maybe a bigger one, to chip away there. So, if that wanted to work out for me, I would not complain.
I think you just have to ask every Monday
Yeah,
now.
I'm just putting it out there. It wouldn't hurt. I wouldn't complain. Let's jump in. First game I am seeing is Philly Boston. What are you seeing there?
Just the first name that pops to mind, and I know you like it too. Is Pasta. He's great at home. Um, I think he's been really good at bouncing back from down games or whatever. Philly, he's got a nice target there. That one just kind of jumps out to me right away. His home volume is, it's been good all year. He has a 64% hit rate overall, and then we go to home, and that goes to 67. So looks like a really nice spot for him. That's kind of
Yeah,
what I'm
sorry.
here.
We're watching the worst dog ever, so if you hear some barks, let me know. He's going crazy in the background. Oh, there he fucking goes. God damn it.
It's all right.
I'm gonna try to talk through him, but if he starts barking again, I'm gonna mute myself. Pasta to me is just like, he went under last game, so just trust him to bounce back. It seems like he so often follows up a dud with a good game, and he's had some massive outings against the Flyers last year.
Yeah.
Seems like just a simple one. Flyers up a lot of shots, Bruins shoot at home. Pasta's at a fine price, so I bet him straight to start off the day.
Yeah, I do like that one. He had a down game last time he played the Flyers, but yeah, if you look back to last season, he had really nice games, 8, 7, and 5 shots. So he has the numbers in the past. Um, he like we said, he's been really good at bouncing back. It's been a while since he stayed under in multiple games. So that just seems like the obvious one. And I just want to bring up a popular parlay that our friend mentioned in one of our chats. It's for Pasta, Marchand, and Hayes to get 2 shots each on FanDuel, which is -125. So that seems pretty solid too. Um, I know Marchand's been iffy, but he has nice games against the Flyers, pretty much 2 shots in a lot of them. So those seem like an interesting one there if you want to play it safe and drop down the shots a bit.
Yeah, Marchand looked interesting to me this morning when I was poking around. I mean, if you just look at home, he's had 4 shots or more in 3 of his last 4. Some nice attempts, obviously, to go along with that. So I thought Marchand looked pretty reasonable at -130 to get 3.
Yeah, so that parlay then pretty much would look at Hayes, and I mean, he's been pretty solid. I mean, 2 shots, it's definitely nicer for him. So that's a nice looking parlay to me. And Pasta just looks good overall. So kind of the obvious ones.
I think so. This leg burned me the other day when they got shut out by Seattle, but I do think Boston seems like a solid bet to find at least 3 goals here at home. I actually put that with the over in Florida Buffalo at 6.5, which we'll talk about in a second. But I mean, Bruins at home doesn't need much explanation for the most part. Still a solid average despite being shut out, and Carter Hart's in net, and he's let up at least 3 in what looks like 7 straight against Boston. A lot of those, he's got 5 of those games there. He allowed 4 or more. So I like Boston to at least net 3. Just a little parlay leg to bring something that's juiced into plus money.
Yeah, I got screwed over by Boston last time I bet them, but I think that was a fluke. I think they're in a good spot.
Let's hop to the other 1 p.m. game, which is Florida Buffalo. Just to put a bow on that play I just alluded to, I am doing over 6.5 here. Goalies have been confirmed. It's Bobrovsky and Luukkonen, who has not been good, both allowing about 3.5 goals per game. And it just poking around at some recent Buffalo Florida games, the overs hit 7 and 5 straight, dating back to last December. So I like seeing that. Buffalo typically scores a bit more at home. I mean, they're averaging 3.9 at home, and Florida's allowing 3.8. So that got on my radar. And then I'm seeing a pretty nice power play edge for the Florida side to find some goals there. So I'm expecting a high scoring one to start the day.
Yeah, I like that. I think that the line with Chuck and Bennett and Rahagi looks really nice. I was kind of looking at them like when I first started digging into this game. I think they could do some damage, but I was looking at Bennett's shots. It does look good. He's been pretty good on the road. He's got the volume lately. He's got numbers against Buffalo. He's one of those guys that been hard for me to get right, but I do like that spot for him. But at a slightly better price, we both are liking the same guy today. And normally we wait to the end of the show to bring up the picket play, but since this game's starting so early, we just wanted to talk about it. Montour, his shots look really good.
Yeah, I think there's a couple things to like that stuck out. I mean, just overall, if you just look at his last 10 games, he's got 6 hits in his last 7, but he hasn't had a game under 2. in quite a while, which is nice to see. On the road, his volume's just really solid. Last 3 games, he's got 24 attempts, which is inviting. He's got 10 shots in his last 2 on the road. Florida, or sorry, Buffalo is it's a pretty good target for defensemen as well. They're in the top 10 most shots there. And I have to imagine some of this correlation here with shots, because if you just look at Montour's season, the attempts are definitely rising. I mean, he's been steady on the power play lately, but I'd have to look. Maybe he's getting a little more power play shots lately. I know he's on the top line there, but it just seeing that he's on there too made me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, I just for me it was following the volume with these Florida defensemen. We saw early on in the season Montour and Forsling. Um, Granted, Ekblad was out for a bit, but when they had the volume, they were really solid plays for a lot of games, and we're seeing Montour trending up with those attempts again and starting to hit his shots. So, with a defenseman, you want that high volume. There's just so many opportunities for block shots, missed shots, stuff like that. So when we see him getting it, he's being efficient with it and getting a shot. So I like following that here in this matchup.
Yeah, I think the other side looks good for shots too, which is another reason I like the over. I think both teams are going to find shots. I don't know if there's anyone on Buffalo that stood out to you. I mean, I was poking around, and Tuck has been steady at home. I mean, it's hard to ignore just a guy like Tage in a matchup like this. He hasn't been very consistent lately and hasn't had that success against Florida we would like to see, but they do let up a lot of penalties. And he is so far ahead on the power play shots here on this team that I considered him to be involved, but it's just hard to. The price does not match the production lately, so it's hard to feel good about him.
Yeah, I agree there. I think there
Skinner
are.
got the bump.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to play that, but I think that somebody's going to go off on that side, especially on the power play. Yeah, this could be a game where there could be, if you have those power play goal markets overall, there could be some here with these two teams. But I found a little bit, on the Florida side, the prices looked a little bit better, and Montour's volume looked really nice. The Buffalo side, you're just getting a lot of juice on these guys right now.
I wish we got a Dylan Cousins shot line today at plus money, because he's been pretty solid. He's over 2.5 in 3 of his last 4, and he kind of up and down, but he's been at 2 every miss lately in his last 8 games, and Florida's a good target for center shots. I was hoping for a line there, so it's weird that today's the day we don't get one. He's been listed what feels like every day for a couple weeks now.
Yeah, yeah, that would have been a good look. He's been solid on the power play too, just with points and everything. So that's a bummer.
Is there anything else you're seeing in this one?
No, I do think the over looks really nice. And if I was, like I said, I think Kachuk and that line with Bennett, that would be where I would look for maybe a goal or something like that. But yeah, we're both on the same page with Montour there. Shots. I think that's our favorite look starting off the day.
Yes, let's go to Colorado. Detroit is at 3 today. Certainly prefer, I think Colorado looks good for shots and goals. I haven't bet anything here. I know you might have put something in right before we went live. You want to talk about that?
Yeah. So I was looking. Yeah, I was looking at McKinnon shots at 4.5. It's at -120, which, for him, I think that looks pretty good with his home production, and he's had some really nice games against Detroit in the past. But you brought it up to Detroit. Maybe centers is where they're limiting shots a tiny bit more than the other positions. So I found on FanDuel they have these popular parlays, and they have McKinnon 3 shots and Larkin 3 shots for minus 106, and I played that one. I'm liking it. Larkin's been it's been solid recently. He's hit his over in 4 straight games, and he has that floor that I like to see. He has 2 shots in 80% of his games, and on the road he goes up to 65% hit rate. For what it's worth, the last time he was in Colorado, he had hit his shots. So I think he should get some power play chances, which is, that's always good for him. And gives me a little bit of comfort with McKinnon there, getting him down at 3. So I liked that pair today, for them to get some shots in that game.
Yeah, it seems solid. And Avalanche have had their penalty issues. Larkin's super involved there. I think that's a solid combo. You mentioned it, but McKinnon's history against Detroit is pretty shockingly amazing. I'd have to bring it back up, but SparkNotes version would be that he likes to score against the Red Wings. Bringing it up now back to 2016, there's only been 2 games he hasn't scored against Detroit. Quick eyeball, that seems to be about an 11 or 12 game stretch. I certainly like Colorado to score. I mean, Detroit's letting up 3.7 on the road, decent amount of shots as well. And Husso has not been good at all lately. And Colorado scored 4+ in 4 of their last 5 against Detroit, 5+ in 3 of their last 4. So they've certainly had Detroit's number to go along with McKinnon helping out the cause. So that's probably where, I haven't been able to dig into all these. I might do McKinnon goal, maybe just Colorado team total, so I don't have to worry about who's involved, but I expect them to score tonight or this afternoon.
Yeah, that's kind of another reason why I liked that parlay too, getting McKinnon down, the shots down a little bit, because I do like the goal, and I wanted to play goal, and he has hit the shots recently against Detroit in those games you were talking about, but the goals go back even further than him getting 5 shots against them. So I think I'm gonna go goal on McKinnon. Husso's just not been good, like you said, and with just how he's playing, I think if McKinnon gets 5 shots on him, I just see one of them going in, with how the form that Husso's been in. So that's why I'm gonna go McKinnon goal and then use his shots a little bit lower in that other parlay with Larkin and call it there for this game.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, even this includes overtime in DraftKings, but Colorado to go over 3.5 is only minus 125. That's not a bad price at all. Just
Yeah.
poking around live here a little bit. I mean, they had that embarrassing loss to Chicago on Thursday. And, our buddy Tones really called that out in their next game. This is a desperate team that has dropped a lot of games recently that came out and beat Ottawa 7-0. Maybe that's the mojo shift they needed to keep it rolling. They're certainly not like, yippee, we got to win, time to coast. I mean, they're only 21-17-3. They're going to have to pick it up here. So I like seeing them score 7 last game, which was at home. They got 11 goals in their last 2 at home. Husso's been very bad, so
Yeah.
I don't hate the team total.
Yep. I like both those angles, the team total and McKinnon goal. Just think he should be involved today, and seeing his shots are at minus 120 for the 4.5, so should be able to get some shots on Detroit today. And yeah, that's never good for Husso right now.
No, I do want to mention, I don't know if I can really play it, but Lekkonen's shot stood out to me on Colorado. I believe he's on that line with McKinnon. We had a big game last game, 5 shots on 11 attempts, which is the second time he's put up that type of stat line in the last 5 games. Those are sandwiched in between. Those 5 for 11 are 4 attempts, 3 attempts, 3 attempts with 3 misses. So that bums me out, but I do think they're going to get shots off. And I saw the Red Wings are a little more vulnerable to shots from the wing. it's hard to back that consistency, but it caught my eye. I mean, 11 attempts is a lot, and he scored twice, so maybe he keeps it rolling.
Yeah, got momentum behind him, that's for sure.
All right. Next game, 4 o'clock, New Jersey, San Jose. I don't, I mean, I don't love targeting San Jose for shots. I do think the Devils can score. What are you thinking about this one?
Yeah, I wasn't particularly excited here. Definitely don't want to look at the Sharks in this matchup. And I think the Devil side, I don't know, I'm not excited about it. Brat's been picking it up. Uh, I don't know how long that's gonna last, but he's been hot lately with his shots, and he's at even money. Um, I don't know. I'm not too excited here personally.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just getting into the research for the day a little bit, and so when I see that the Devils are averaging 4.1 on the road, and San Jose is allowing 4.1 at home. So obviously that catches the eye. My next stop is usually StatMuse to just see how recent games have done. The last 5 meetings, the Devils have only scored 2 goals in 4 of them, 3 goals in the other. I think sometimes you can throw it out the window. I mean, this is just kind of a different New Jersey team than the last couple of years, but still, when I like something so much and then I see that, it gives me a little reason to pause. But I don't know. The Devils have scored 5-6, 5-4 in their last 4 games. So I think you can kind of throw that history up, but um, I just saw that, so thought I would flag it. But I think New Jersey can score too.
Yeah, if I was gonna look at something, it would be them to score. But shots wise, I don't know. Hughes was rolling for a bit. You know, it's obviously hard to keep that up, but he still can score. He's still at plus money. But like I said, Brat's volume has kind of gone up a bit, so it's a little intriguing there.
Yeah, I think Brat looks solid. I don't know. I might do Devils to get like 3. Be curious what those odds are. But I mean, Brat's got 4 goals in his last 4 games, so maybe it is try to follow a point or a goal prop instead of
Yeah, he's looked good.
Jack Hughes is sure to hit his shots again soon now that everyone's sort of fizzled on him. I think since I wrote that article that Jack Hughes is on fire, uh, that was clearly his death. No, hasn't hit since.
Yeah, that was unfortunate, but he was on fire.
Yeah,
Uh,
I mean that headline was correct. It was not predictive. Just a reflection. All right. I mean, I'm thinking I might do something with the Devils team total, but I'll get back to you on that one.
Makes sense.
Tampa, Tampa, Seattle wraps up the afternoon games at least until 6. I think. I mean, I might have to put some kind of future on the Kraken. That doesn't really apply to tonight, but they've been awesome. They've won 7 straight. I mean, they've kind of been these road warriors where the goals have been flying on the road, and now they're back home. But I mean, I think this game could yield some goals again. That's my initial take on it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, with the Kraken, if you got any future on them, early on, that must have been awesome because they've just been they've looked really good. It's been really impressive. I mean, they're scoring like they'll score with barely any shots a lot of the time. They're just they've been really impressive. I have liked playing them when they're on the road, as you mentioned. Um, some of these guys have some crazy road trends and charts, but it's hard not to give them credit. I mean, even when they're back at home, some of these guys just looked really great. Matty B, he's been coming through a lot for us with the points and the goals. Um, I don't know, just now they're back at home after such a nice trip and riding high, and Tampa's coming to town. Kind of makes me a little nervous. I don't know.
Tampa does allow 3.3. per game on the road. I mean, they met in December. Tampa at home won 6-2. That's an over. I don't hate the
Yeah,
over.
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah, but it
I'm
is
not
tough.
picking a
Like
side.
Beniers has been awesome, but this has just all been on the road. I mean, he's got 2+ points in 5 of his last 6 games. But when you look at his production on at home, he's got 1 point in his last 7 at home. It's just one of those splits that's hard to ignore. I still feel like an idiot for not betting them against Chicago Saturday. Just, I don't know. I thought they were going to fizzle out after a big win in Boston on their 6th or 7th straight road game. So I certainly felt very dumb about 8, 9 p.m. on Saturday. I'm still not over it completely.
Yeah, that was ridiculous. They just obliterated them right out of the gates. Um, yeah, I like goals in this one. If we're looking with how the teams are doing recently, it makes sense. I guess that's my only worry is just, yeah, some point you feel like they're gonna have an off game and that the road is like just where they've been just on fire. So just that's my only flag in this one. But hey, if Tampa has a good game, then like you said, could still hit the over.
Yeah, I might move it down to like 5.5 with something. Yeah, I don't like this game for shots, but I mean, both teams, there's just that clear intersection. Both teams are averaging and allowing at least 3 in their location. I like seeing that. And Tampa, I do like Tampa to find a power play goal here. Their power plays, I think, the league best right now. 36.7% they're scoring in the last 10, and Seattle's penalty kill is still an issue. 67.9. So I definitely like them to find a power play goal. So that might put it over for the over. I'm not sure. But
Yeah,
that
Tampa has that guy Braden Point who's kind of good. So
I heard him. Has he done anything
he
good
might be
against
able to help
Seattle?
out in some way.
Well, he's got 4 points in
Yep,
his last
scored
2
last
against
time.
Seattle. Huh.
Scored against them last meeting.
Uh, is Stamkos still sitting at 5.99?
I want
He
to say
is.
yes. I think all
Yeah.
these recent milestones they haven't been able to get it.
No, I hate when someone brings up a milestone almost to me because I always bet it in like Kyle Connor yesterday and it always fails. But Stamkos does have a goal in 2 of 3 against Seattle, and looks like, yeah, he's had some power play points too. At some point, he's going to score again, but I feel like he's been 2 away, 1 away for a month.
I know. I'm tired of going after that narrative.
Let's keep it moving because we still have 6, 7 more games. Dallas, Vegas. Were you liking anything from here?
Um, Petrangelo, I think that was just he's been a guy I've liked. I mean, he's not. You look at his chart, you see 46%. So you're like, yeah, what do you like about him? But he's been kind of good in like in these certain spots that may at least to me make sense. And I think Dallas on the road, um, not a terrible target. I would need to confirm. Think defenseman. I need to double check looking through so many different charts and stuff. But on the road, I think Trangelo with his he can definitely get some high volume. We saw him go on a run a few games ago where his volume was up at 7, 6 shots a game, and then a few games he kind of dropped off. But then hey, back to his last 2 games, 7 shots, 5 shots or attempts, and then 4 and 3 shots on goal. So I'm liking that. I like when he starts getting that volume um, in a home matchup against Dallas, who I think is they can definitely give up shots when they're on the road, and
Oh
um,
yeah.
I I I believe Petrangelo. He's one of those guys where just out of nowhere he can just fire off 3 shots on a shift. So that was my initial look in this game.
Yeah, no, he stood out when I was looking at home charts in particular. I mean, Dallas lets up about 33 on the road. If you look at the season, Dallas is allowed the 10th most to defensemen. So that's inviting. Last 10, that number has gone down a little bit, 14th fewest. But so it all depends, what you weight. And again, positional data isn't everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think him at 2 looks really nice in
Oh
something.
yeah,
He loves to get 2.
yeah, that's a really solid look. If you drop him down there to 2, that's a 74% hit rate on the season, and he's he's definitely capable of some bad accuracy. I still laugh when I look at his chart and see there's that game where he had 7 attempts against Arizona and 0 shots on goal.
I know. Yeah,
I
it's
couldn't.
tough.
I don't think I was on him that game, thankfully.
I definitely was.
Oh yeah, I would have lost my mind.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the Vegas side for shots. I was considering going back to March or so again. He's been kind to me the last 2 times he's played. Came back from a little couple of weeks on IR. His last 2 games, he's got 4 and 5 shots on 5 and 7 attempts. So, also ramping back up. And last time Dallas was in town, he got 7 off on them.
Yeah.
He's plus money again at 3.5. I got him down with my squiggly, so that means I don't love him, but he looked interesting to me.
What's do you have Dallas's like power play stuff over the last 10 in front of you?
Of course.
Are they letting that up, or have they tightened it up?
They they were really loose at the beginning of the year, and then I think they really corrected and were tight. Now they're at 3.1, so that makes me want to check out like the last 5 games, because I think that's higher than it has been. So why don't I just check that out? I mean, it's 3.1 is fine. It's not amazing, but I'm pretty sure they were in the 2s a week ago. So let me see if this
Yeah, 'cause
confirms it.
that would make him look really good for 4 shots.
Yeah, I mean, last 5 games, they're up at giving up 3.4 per game, which puts them at tied for 6th most in the NHL. The league in general is really tightened up with penalties lately. Is looking at this every day. Just a side note, but yeah, so that does make me like Marchessault a little bit more, because he's very involved on the power play. So maybe I should just rip that one.
Yeah, or like you said, man, you drop him down to 3, and that's really nice. If you did an alt line there, 77% at
Yeah,
the 3 shots.
yeah. I was looking at his game log against Dallas, going back a little further, and he does land on 3 a lot against them.
Yeah, so that he could be a look in, yeah, whether you want to take that shot plus money. If they get the power play chances, I feel like he could definitely hit it. And I like Pietrangelo. I think minus 115 for 3 shots looks pretty good too in this game.
Yeah, I'm not going to look at Dallas today. Vegas pretty tight to shots and goals. I'm not sure if you're in agreement there, but I didn't even poke around on Dallas. Not
Yeah,
interested.
I would only say if you've been on the Heiskanen train, if you've been like riding that, you have a lot of house money to play with. He's been just on a roll again. There's been matchups where I'm just like, I'm not interested in him today. Like, against Calgary, for example, one of the tightest teams to defenseman shots, and then he has a 5-shot on goal game. He's hit in 8 straight games. He's hit in
It is crazy.
66% overall, and he's still just at minus 110. So I don't, the matchup's not driving me crazy at all. But like I'm saying, if you've just been riding with his shots, and you feel comfortable still going with it, I don't blame you there. He's been hitting in tough spots, so
Yeah, that's a good call
have
out.
to point that out. Volume was so
Penguins,
nice.
Penguins, Ducks. Obviously, anyone playing the Ducks seems like a good target. I was kind of blown away that for how many shots the Penguins average at home, none of these guys that you could bet on individually are offering me any kind of home consistency to feel good about. I don't know if you found someone because I'm all ears because I certainly
Uh,
expect them to find space.
Raquel, I think he has 2+ in all but one of his home games. This is his uh, former team. It's the team he came from to go to Pittsburgh. So probably not, revenge is when you're upset. So I don't think he's too upset that he went to Pittsburgh. Um, but it's his old team. And I think his home chart looks way better than his away chart. His away chart, there's lots of ones in there. Um, Not much consistency. Uh, and at home, it's that floor is really nice. I think he, last game for whatever he had 2 attempts against Winnipeg, but I had looked and he didn't have a nice history against them in general. But 2 games before that, I mean, his attempts were crazy. He had 21 attempts against Vancouver and New Jersey at home. So, you know, bounce back spot at home against the the best opponent you could possibly have, former team. I would like to see a 4+ shot line from FanDuel. That's where I would go, and if not, I'd probably parlay him with something.
Yeah, that looks nice to me. I could get behind that.
Goal, I don't know, maybe goal. How has he been?
I wasn't seeing a
He's a
ton, but
he's just like,
well, two in
goal,
his last three
couple
games.
games. Yeah, gets a goal, goes with that one. Gets a goal, goes with that one. A lot of the time, but I like the spot. I think he'll be shooting today.
Wish we had ourselves like a Pittsburgh defenseman to maybe at least consider. I'm not seeing a lineup for anybody.
Yeah,
I mean, like Letang's got 7 attempts in each of his last 2 games at home, or he still hasn't played since this props that
he's had a
cash is
rough.
showing him for no reason.
He's been
Forget it.
going through it.
You're
He's
right. I thought for
a
some
lot of
reason he
stuff
came
this
back.
season. Yeah,
He has not.
yeah. So my look was him. I really wanted Gensel to just be back. Um, but he like exploded for a couple games, and then I was like, oh, all right. Let I used his shots in a parlay with against Winnipeg, and he hit the 3 shots immediately in the first period, and then he was just like, I'm just gonna go back to doing nothing now. So I was hoping he was back because that would have been a great spot against the Ducks, but Raquel kind of just he seems the most consistent to me, and the narrative. I always like that.
Yeah, I guess the only other thing just poking around is Malkin. Last 3 games, he's got 6 shots. Then he had one, but then he had 7, and he's got 4 in 2 of his last 3 against Anaheim, and looks like he's got 5 goals in his last 5 games against them. So when you're looking at a ton of people that don't seem to be shooting lately, Crosby, Gensel,
Wow.
Malkin is. So plus
Yeah, that's nice.
136 to get 4 is interesting to me.
Yeah, he does like scoring
Um,
against him.
I will write him down for now. We
I'm
got to
gonna
keep it
ladder
moving.
Raquel. That's my I'm saying it now. If we get 4+ at like plus 140, 150 or something like that, I'm gonna play that.
Let's keep it moving. Rangers, Columbus. Uh, I've been betting it for a couple games now, but if Kreider's out again, I'm going right back to Zibanejad. I cannot believe he's plus money here against Columbus.
Yep.
When Kreider
Same.
is out, he steps up. I think it's now up to 17 of his last 21 games without Kreider. He's gotten 4 shots. Um, last 2 games, 4 and 5 on 15 attempts, and I mean it's Columbus. I don't think we need to sell you on someone looking good against the Blue Jackets. So I just want
And
confirmation that Kreider's out. Even if he's in, it doesn't matter that much, but I certainly would love it more.
I was actually gonna say, I mean, that's a huge bonus that he hits so often when Kreider's out. But I mean, if we just look back, like his last 10 games, the volume's been there. It's been there even before the games that Kreider was out. So to me, this just looks like positive regression. The stats balancing out. He's had the volume, and the huge bonus that Kreider's not there, but he started off the season with about the same kind of attempts, and he was just hitting more often. So to me, it's just like he just had a little rough run, and now everything's balancing out. So I like this spot, kind of regardless. He was great on the road initially, so I think it's all just kind of coming back together for him.
Ruba looks really good too. Like I kind of want to just skip his three and put him in like a degenerate parlay because against Columbus, the last two games in Columbus, guy has 6 and 5 shots, and Blue Jackets have been one of the best defenseman targets all year. He's got 13 attempts in his last two games and 8 shots. I mean, he's minus 119 to go over 2.5. I might have to double dip on this game.
Yeah, I was looking at I was looking at those last couple of games. If he can keep his volume up there, 6 7 or 5 6 7 attempts, that's what you want to see from him. But uh that's my only concern is there hasn't been much consistency in his volume. It's just like massive game, 2 attempts. Massive, and then another massive game, 2 attempts. So
Yeah,
it gets
but
a little
in his defense, I mean, Jacob's my best friend. You know, he's had some tough games
yeah,
here.
my bad.
Carolina, New Jersey. I mean, cut him some slack. Jeez.
Well, all right. Put him on the phone with Heiskin and tell him to ask him what he's doing. How do you overcome every single target? Please let
Well,
me
I
know.
mean, he did just play Dallas 2 games ago, so he probably got some tips because he shot
Is
even
that
more the next game. So it's a
he was
direct
watching?
correlation.
That's what happened. He was watching. He's like, oh, this guy on the other side. That's what I should do.
All
All
right.
right.
So Trouba ladder tonight it is. So uh I'm not I'm not taking Columbus. I think New York looks good for scoring too. I haven't dug in yet, but they scored more on the road. Uh End analysis.
Yes.
Washington Islanders. All I wrote down from here is that I'd consider some Islander shots. This is my first time looking. Have you gotten to this game?
Very briefly. I just wrote down the obvious. Brock Nelson home.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep betting Brock Nelson at home.
He's he's awesome on home ice. Like it's one of those funny ones. There's 2 shots almost every game, and then you switch to like the road, and there's just 0 1 1 4 1 1 1 2 0. Gross. So at home, way more consistent. Um, these last couple games have been nice volume, or last few games 7 9 6. So definitely like that. Looks good
Yeah, I'm
here.
gonna very nice price too. Caps lit up a lot more on the road. I feel like Washington has really cooled off with the goals. They had that run, around Ovi's 800 where it felt like they were scoring 4 times a day. But that it seems like I've been betting Washington's team totals for over a week and losing every time. So I'm off them for a little bit. And Islanders are a pretty tight team, at least at home.
Yeah, I think I think it's just the obvious look there. Nelson, he seems to be the most solid. That's about as far into it I was really getting.
Cool. Calgary, Nashville. You gonna give Duchesne a chance, even though it's a tougher opponent?
So this game's a little later. Maybe if I have a maybe if the earlier games treat me all right and I can put a little bit on them. I hate the spot does not look good at all. I just feel like Duchesne, that home trend is hilarious. And last game he didn't come through for us, but he did have 5 attempts. Don't like the target, but what do you know? He's hit in 3 of his last 4 against Calgary, with five shots on goal on the road this season. Like that doesn't make any sense. So Plus 126. I'm so nervous that he's just gonna have that good bounce back game. I'm gonna be sitting there just like, oh man. you know, the data says that he hits it at home and he didn't hit it last game. So uh should get some power play chances in this game, I think. So he's on my radar. I'm not saying I've played him, but tempting me maybe a half unit or something.
Yeah, I just don't like the target. On the
No.
other side, though, I definitely want some Calgary shots. They
Oh
lead the
yeah.
NHL in road shooting, and
I know who I'm playing.
when you poke around their road charts, they all look really good. I think I know who you're playing, but I'm going to mention a couple different names here. They're both bumped down to 1.5, which seems weird here against a national team that lets up so many and the third most of defensemen over the last 10. I think Hannafin and Rasmus Anderson both look really solid. I mean, they're hitting really steady, and they've both hit in the last two against Nashville, three of their last four. They're both 1.5. I kind of want to combine them.
Yeah, they've got really nice road charts at that number. Um, it's just juiced like you said. So if you can combine them, that's great. And I think on Bet 365 you can. You can get that. So that's a real nice look there.
I assume you're thinking Backlund.
No.
Toffoli? Wrong
Yep.
again? Okay.
Yep. To fully. That's I minus 118. I really like that price in this spot. Um, he's the last 5 games against Nashville, 2+ every game, and he's hit this line in 3 of them. Um, like you said, the team shoots more on the road. He's Let's look at his recent road games: 3-3, 1, 4-4, 4. And then he's got that floor of 2 shots in a lot of games. But I like the target here. I think Toffoli should definitely uh, get some chances. There should be, like I said, power plays in this game. Um, and that price at minus, I'm seeing minus 118. When I'm looking at props.cash, I don't know if Barstool is better or one of those books, but
Yeah,
seems
use
like a
Pickett.
solid price.
Yeah, Nashville's just been getting obliterated by shots. I they all look good to me. I don't know. They let up a lot of penalties too. I don't know. I like the Toffoli a lot. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
I'm
mean,
just
I think that anybody could have a huge game here. This could be an interesting game for alts, I think. I wish we could still same game parlay, alternate shots, but I think that the Calgary side, there's definitely a lot to like here. I like that angle you're talking about. Each of those guys at 1.5. I just think that's a really nice price for Toffoli today to get 3 shots in this particular matchup.
yeah, it is. I might play that and then combine the defenseman into a different play. It seems like a good time to double dip.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, let's make it. All right, last game. Ottawa
Wow.
St. Louis.
Man.
Ottawa St. Louis. All I wrote down here was maybe St. Louis shots. This game didn't really tickle me as much as the other ones.
No, I wanted to. I wanted Shabbat to be doing better. He had that volume for a bit, uh, but not a great game last game. Um, I don't know. I thought he was going to start getting it going for me. He's been hitting kind of frequently, but he doesn't really ever get. He seems to end on 3 quite a bit, so you're always sweating it. I was looking on the other side. Uh, Justin Falk at home. He's
Yeah,
been he's been good this season. He's hit this 2.5 line 11 out of 20 games, but he has 2+ in um 18 of 20 at home. So there's another guy if you like making those alternate shot parlays or something. He's got that really nice floor of 2 shots there, and he's plus money to get 3. Um, you know, think I don't know where Ottawa ranks against defensemen, but
Not kind of middling.
so that one
Like
kind of stands out a
five.
little bit. He's been better at home.
Yeah, not my favorite game when there's 11. And I mean, by this time, I'm going to be rooting on a Mike Evans touchdown at plus 200. So I
That's
might
true.
just sit this one out.
Yeah.
Why don't we quickly hop to, we already did pick and play of the day. It was Montour. Game starts in 5 minutes. Go, Ron. If you want to join, you're running out of time.
Yeah.
Why don't we head back to best bets, try to catch our breath. I haven't bet too much yet, but why don't you start? What's sticking out to you?
Um, McKinnon goal. I
Yeah.
like him to score against Detroit. I played that. I did that FanDuel. It was only on FanDuel under popular parlays. Larkin and McKinnon, 3 shots each. I like that. I think McKinnon at home is real solid, and Larkin's been he's been good lately. I think he can get some chances on the power play. Uh, Zibanejad, if Kreider's out, I really like. I know I really like Zib. Like him even kind of if Kreider's in. The volume's been there. I think he's just finding his groove a bit. So I like him for plus money against Columbus. Uh, then Raquel. If I can't get alts on him, I'll probably use him in a parlay. But if I can get a 4-shot line on Raquel, I'm gonna play that.
Yeah, I like that. I've only put in 3 bets so far on Sheridan Gold Boys earlier. I did Montour with you. I did Pasta Shots, which is also at 1, and then Bruins over 2.5, and Florida Buffalo to go over 6.5, which came in, I think, plus 123. So I put those 3 in out into the universe so far. But looking back through my notes, yeah, definitely want Mika. I think Truba looks awesome.
Oh, there's a
I
name actually I forgot to mention that I did want to touch on just in case people aren't as familiar with all of the players, but Mason McTavish on the Ducks. Um, he's been getting a lot more chances lately. He's on that top line. He's on the top power play. I think isn't he like their power play shot leader? Uh,
he
the
might
Ducks.
be.
But Pittsburgh been a good target for centers. McTavish's road chart is not good when you look at it. He ends on 2 a lot, but just he's had a increase in his role. You see if you look at his minutes chart, it's just been going up the whole season, and his attempts are at the highest they've ever been for this season. So he's coming off a game where he went 2 shots on net on 4 attempts against the Devils. So Pittsburgh's definitely a better target than the Devils and a good target for centers, and he's at plus money. Just wanted to put him on people's radar who might not be as familiar with some of these players, especially on the Ducks.
Yeah, we did gloss over that side, but Pittsburgh is a fine shot target. What the hell is up with Anaheim? Hasn't been on the road in 10 games. They haven't been in a road game since December
Oh,
20th.
so you know what? I'm less
Frankfurt Toronto looks really good on
I'm not
road,
as
but
concerned about his away chart then because he's just his everything's just been steadily going up for him to up to this point. So if they're just been at home for a while right now, then yeah, I'd give him I might give him a chance on the road against Pittsburgh. I believe you in your power play chart, Pittsburgh's been giving up opportunities recently, correct?
let me. I got him, yeah, at 3.3, which is fine. Let me see. I still have the last 5 tab up, I think. Last 5, they have allowed 2.4. So they are
All right.
going down, but
Okay.
that's a pretty small sample size.
Either way, though, I've said his road chart was bad, but they haven't played on the road in a bit. So if you like this recent volume from McTavish, this is a good spot for centers against Pittsburgh, and he's at plus 120.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I'm going to do either Colorado team total and McKinnon goal. I like Brock Nelson. Yeah, I still got to do another loop through, but hopefully we.
Fabry. Is that how you pronounce it? He's top line. He was he was listed on the top line, I think, when I checked.
for
And
Detroit.
yeah, I think when I looked, he was like plus 140 or something like that for a point, which I don't know about any of the looking at matchup or whatever, but just a top line guy. If he's that high for just to get a point, it's always kind of tempting. He's had 3 goals since he's been back already, so if he's up on that top line, um, and he stays there, then his odds for a lot of his stuff are going to start shifting real soon. But just keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, it's a good call out. I mean, all his points have been goals this year.
Yeah, he's played
Plus
like
three,
5 games.
plus 310 for a goal.
Yep. All right.
All righty. Well, that was a lot of games. Hopefully, circle some interesting spots for you.
Yeah, definitely need pen and paper when you're watching this.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for joining. We'll be back Wednesday, same time. I think I saw a tweet that this is the most games played in a week all year this week for NHL. So we're gonna have a lot of games to sift through all week. So thanks for joining. Thanks to Pickett and Gold Boys, and good luck today.
Yep. Good luck, guys. See ya.